we talked a little bit about the framework of face it, name it, and engage with it. Are there other ways that good, healthy, or effective self-compassion or self-accountability, other ways that that looks like in an engineering team or internally? Other ways that you would help people, I think, have self-compassion?
One, I think just even having it as a topic, this is that self-compassion is something that we actually value and we find valuable. Because I think, not a lot of people talk about compassion or especially self-compassion. Because usually it's like, oh, self-compassion, that means weak. Self-compassion means complacent. Self-compassion means that, yeah, okay, you're really not going to be improving. But I find it, very much the opposite. So as leaders, as we can talk about, being compassionate with ourselves and others, how do we meet situations? Then it helps, again, I use this word quite a lot, normalize. And so, just having the vocabulary and being clear about what we mean by that, then, I think that certainly helps. There's lots of different authors and different research. One of the ones that I like the most is Kristen Neff. Her and Chris Germer, they started the organization called the Center for Mindful Self-Compassion. She wrote a book entitled Self-Compassion, which was, incredibly powerful for me. I probably read that about 7 years ago. In there, they teach a lot of the different techniques, but, again, it's about, can I be conversant in what's the internal dialogue with me and help other people normalize it and to realize, man, you're not alone. There's nothing wrong with you. I think that's one of the big things I hear from so many people that I coach is like, oh man, I thought I was the only one. And when they find out they're not the only one, it's like, oh, thank God.
I think that experience definitely comes up a lot in the peer group conversations that I've been a part of, just in terms of this, having the space to share challenges where it feels like you're the only person working through whatever business hurdle, relationship challenge, or whatever expression that is. And I've seen that almost like the weight being lifted and that exhale when folks are realizing, oh my God, there are 4 or 5 other people who have faced that, have experienced that, or understand that. And so I think that, like you said, being really conversant in that dialogue can really lift a lot of things.
Absolutely. And Jerry and I, we've talked about this when we first started conversations, I don't know how many years ago, but, with Forum, I'm part of YPO, another professional organization, Young Presidents Organization. They have Forum where it's this confidential space of other leaders, peers, to be able to talk through, what are some of the challenges that are going on. And one of the biggest advantages of those groups, as the ELC leadership groups are as well, I'm not alone. And then from that point, we get to learn with each other.
And I also remember when we have those conversations early on, like brainstorming how we can be able to add value for our members, for their career growth and solving problem at work. And you mentioned examples like your experience, but part of the YPO mastermind groups, the Dapps and the depth of the conversation is phenomenal. Especially those people are meeting together not just for a month or a year, it's a decade. I remember that you mentioned that part of the group you're with is long lasting, and that just creates a lot of trust and like a unique space people can feel compassionate and practice that.
And you also kind of share that journey, so I think one of the things when you have this more persistent relationship, and by the way, I'm coming up 20 years with the same group that I've been part of, from YPO. We're actually all meeting again. We're living in all different places in the world, but we're all getting together in the summer with our families as well, as that celebration of, the continuity that we've had. And, when you have that continuity, then you can see and remind people, I remember something from 15 years ago where you're struggling and that doesn't come up anymore. And like, oh, wow, I forgot about that. Because many times we forget some of the challenges that we have, and we're only focused on the one that's right in front of us right now. And it's helpful to have that continuity so other people can remind us, you remember that growth that you've had, kind of like your gratitude jar, Patrick. Remembering those good times, and also remembering the learnings from the challenging times. All of those are to be celebrated.